Yes, I did watch Heartstopper twice and read it twice in less than a week. Hi, hello, how are you? If you're new here, it's nice to meet you. I'm Alex. And if you're coming back, we're best friends now, you know how this goes. I hope you're doing well, and if not, I totally get that. It's okay, and I hope tomorrow is better. All of you have probably already read and watched the Heartstopper series. It's a graphic novel written by Osman, and it's the best thing to have ever happened in this lifetime. And then Netflix made it into an adaptation. They worked very closely with Osman, and it was so incredibly well made. The casting was perfect. It was just so good. It was so good. And it made me so incredibly happy. Reading Heartstopper, I was like, I need more of this. It got me even more into graphic novels when I read it last year. And since then, I have read many queer young adult novels and memoirs. So if you haven't gotten enough of Heartstopper and you want more of that goodness, then you've come to the right place, because I'm here to give you some great queer graphic novel recommendations. I'm just gonna start off with two memoirs that I've read that I really liked. The first one is Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison bechdel. So this tells a story of Alison, and it's kind of about her rocky, strange relationship with her father. It was very complicated. Her father owned a funeral home, which Alison called the Fun Home. It tells a story of her kind of figuring her shit out, figuring out her sexuality, figuring out what she wants to do with her life, and figuring out her relationship with her family. Around college, Alison came out as a lesbian to her father, and at around the same time she found out that her father was also gay. And soon after that, he was killed in an accident. So it's a lot about Alison kind of figuring out what happened of all these situations that led up to that moment. And it's really incredibly well written. It's one of the best books I've read so far this year. I really, really loved the artwork. I love the storytelling. I think bechdel is such a talented author and comic writer, and I really love this work, and I was very impressed by it. The other memoir that I read, which was excellent, referenced Fun Home, and that was Genderqueer by Maia, kobabe. So this is another memoir about self-identity, about figuring out your place among other people in this world, and it's a lot about just Maia figuring out her sexuality and gender, and how love fits into things, and how it's very much friendship based for him, and figuring out what pronouns work for him and what makes him feel comfortable, seen, understood. And it was complex and very straightforward, and there were very many aspects of it that made me feel seen. And I think it's a very important piece of work, and it's a very important graphic novel, and I very highly recommend it. I've been putting it off for a long time because I felt like I would recognize myself too much in it, but it was just so perfect. It was so, so good. And now I have a bunch of fiction graphic novels to share with you that gave me the same energy as Heartstopper, because I feel like these two memoirs, they're much more mature. They're less like giddy, but they are still about figuring yourself out. But these fiction pieces are a little bit different. I want to recommend is something that I've spoken about a lot on this channel, and that is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Wang, also illustrated by Wang. Brilliant piece of work. This tells the story of a dressmaker in Paris who kind of goes rogue at her atelier, and she gets kicked out because what she creates is too out of this world. But she has caught the eye of someone in the royal family who is the prince, and he's trying to get married, or his family is trying to get him married. He is more focused on being Paris's biggest fashion item as Lady Christelle, and he works along with this dressmaker who is part of his story, and they go on all these wild nights, and it's all about friendship and loving yourself and that feeling you get when you put on the perfect outfit and you're like, yes, I can conquer the day. This is the day I take over the world, and it is because of this outfit, you know? The next graphic novel I want to recommend has been compared a lot to Heartstopper, and they're very similar in that they follow a young boy, and that is Bloom by Kevin Panetta and illustrated by Savannah Ganusho. So this tells a story of Ari, who just finished school and he cannot wait to get out of his small town, leave the world behind him, and start on his own. But he is stuck working for his family's bakery, which is not doing so great, and he hates it. And then he meets Hector, who is supposed to be his replacement, and Hector loves baking as much as Ari resents it. And not only does he love baking and kind of brings Ari back into that world that he forgot about, but he's also really cute and very nice. So like a little romance blooms between the two of them, and it's very cute, and I very much like the artwork. I really like graphic novels that have like one focus color, so they're black and white, but they have like one focus color in them. All of these graphic novels just have phenomenal artwork in them, and that really can make the experience that much better. Up next, we have On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden, which is, I think it was originally published as 3 separate graphic novels, but then it was published in one. I read just like the one volume that they have. And this tells a story of Maia, who finished school and she's working for this like group of like space fixer-uppers that go around and they rebuild broken and falling apart structures so that they can be used for different purposes. So they repurpose structures in space. It's told like from her perspective of now, and then it also flashes back to a very pivotal year in boarding school when she met the love of her life, but the love of her life slipped away. She makes it her goal to find this long lost love and reconnect, and I don't know, I guess figure out what happened between the two of them. I loved On a Sunbeam. I think it's a very beautiful graphic novel and I highly recommend it. It's such a gorgeous story of like love, both romantic and platonic, and self-acceptance and the connection that you can build with others. Then I have a pretty popular recommendation. I mean, most of these are pretty popular, and that's Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki and illustrated by Rosemary Valero O'Connell. So this is very young adulty. I didn't like it as much as some of the others that I spoke about, but it was still very good, and it is about Freddie, who keeps getting her heart broken by Laura Dean, who keeps breaking up with her. And although Laura Dean is very cool, she's very popular, she's very cute, she's also kind of mean and entitled and selfish, and that really puts a burden on Freddie. And this story really reflects on a toxic relationship and what Freddie sees in her position as the person in the toxic relationship versus what her friends see as outsiders. And it's about her friends trying to help her navigate through accepting that this relationship isn't healthy and figuring out how to grow and move beyond it and help Freddie find herself outside of this relationship with Laura Dean. And last but not least, I will recommend The Girl from the Sea by Molly Knox Osterray. Beautiful graphic novel, tells a story of this young girl, Morgan, and her family, who they live on this like tiny, perfect island. But Morgan cannot wait to leave this island and finally be herself. She feels like she is very constrained in her life within this island, among her family, her friends, and the people that live there. And then one day, during a near-death experience scenario, she meets this Selkie. And in a dreamlike moment, they kiss, and this Selkie is, I guess, tethered to the land through Morgan. And at first, Morgan does not know what the hell she is doing. She does not know what's going on and why it's happening. But more and more she becomes comfortable within herself and realizes that home is a lot about the people you surround yourself with, and she can be herself anywhere. And I think it's a really important story. I think all of these are really important stories. They're all really great graphic novels, and I urge you to check them out. I think they're definitely worth your time, and if you're really holding on to that Heartstopper story and you need more, but you've read all of the webcomics and you've watched the show to the point that you can recite all the words in it, I definitely recommend branching out and checking out these other queer graphic novels that tell great stories and have great characters and are written by really great people. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you get some great recommendations out of it. Like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.